Hi, Mr. Stifler. It's Jenna Lacey, and today I'm going to be doing my extra credit, not paper, but like my extra credit assignment for a movie review on The Imitation Game. Now, the way I'm going to do this is, instead of like reading questions and answering them, I'm basically just going to review the movie based on the questions that were on the paper for the assignment. Alright, let's get started. Anyway, to start off, The Imitation Game is about how this guy, Alan Turing, who was an English mathematician, computer scientist, philosopher, and theoretical biologist. It's about how he cracked this seemingly unbreakable code called Enigma. He's a real person, because this movie is about true events. And the movie is basically about how he hired this team of geniuses to create this machine that would break some of Germany's most important messages that they used Enigma to code so that nobody would know what it meant. The actors who played some of these roles, like the most important ones, Benedict Cumberbatch played Alan Turing, the main character, and the guy who basically the whole movie is about. Keira Knightley played Joan Clark, an English cryptanalyst who was part of Turing's team during the breaking of Enigma. She and Turing grew to be very close friends throughout the entire movie, and they even got married before she discovered that Alan was a homosexual. She was a real person, and basically her and Alan's relationship is important because the reason that she and Alan break up, and the reason he tells her that he was gay, is because this person, what's his name? The reason the relationship is important to the movie is because after somebody threatens her when they find out that Turing is homosexual, he tells her to leave so that she'll be protected from these people who are threatening him and her lives. I personally, I enjoyed the loyalty of the movie to the actual story of what happened in this time. Because they didn't change the characters too much, they didn't change the story too much, because that's something that a lot of movies do these days, is they change things that were important to the actual story just to make it more appealing to a younger audience. But I liked how this story kind of stuck to the real facts. It was nice to see a movie that was, again, true to the actual events in history. I would give this movie a pretty high grade on the scale of A to F, because it wasn't my favorite movie in the world, but it was a very accurate representation of how all of this actually happened, and I enjoyed the fact that they didn't change things that they didn't need to change. It had, the acting is true to each respective character. I felt like the people who they chose for the casting were spot on. Like, Benedict Cumberbatch did an amazing job as Alan, and Keira Knightley did a great job as Clark. And it was great, because the story had just the right amount of parts that were lighthearted and that made it a true movie, and then it also had the right amount of parts that were the depressing parts of the story and that made it have ups and downs like a movie should. So for the most part, I enjoyed the movie as a whole. The whole movie is just great. Honestly, it's an amazing movie. I Yeah, I thought that the actors did an amazing job. I thought that the the story was great, and it made something historical interesting enough for a great audience of people to watch it, and it made something historical exciting, and it made you feel for the characters, where in historical movies you don't always feel that way, because I felt like it gave the characters a great personality that isn't always there in movies that are about historical events. So, yeah, I thought it was a great movie, and it was accurate, and it was a great representation of what happened.